Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin,
And I am Sir Nick.
and we are here to gab your ears off over all things media and storytelling. And this episode has a very special place in our hearts.
Yes, it does.
We are going to gab about Fiddler on the Roof, the movie.
I was very excited when you suggested that we do this movie. It's an older one, so any of you Gen Zers or whoever who won't watch a movie before 1990 or 2000 or whatever your arbitrary line is, I highly recommend. Please do yourself a favor. There are so many great movies that happened before the year 2000 of our Lord. There really are. Fiddler on the Roof, especially if you're into musicals, is just there's nothing like it.
I consider it a perfect movie. And by the way, as of recording, it is available for free to stream on Tubi. So if anybody wants to watch, at least in Canada, I don't know what it is internationally, but if you want to check it out, I have at her. I consider it a perfect film.
It is a great. It is a. I would I would quibble slightly
Ah,
with Perfect because it is slow in places. It does
I
have
see what you mean.
some pacing issues. If by perfect you mean perfect in characters, authentic feeling, and just the fact that they feel like real people, I mean, yeah, 100%. I think newer audiences, younger audiences would find it a little slow in places. But that doesn't mean that it's not good. A movie that requires patience is still well worth watching. If that would just be my slight
That's fair. Yeah.
thing on that. But as far as like a film that I enjoy, yeah, it's pretty damn near perfect.
Oh,
And it came out in 1971,
which is crazy to think.
1971, and it clocks in at 3 hours and 1 minute.
It is a long movie. It is a very long movie, and it has that whole old school thing of having the intermission with its fantastic soundtrack
Yes, it does.
and
I think
great.
before
Oh, go
we
ahead.
jump ahead too far, though, I think we should give just a very brief, just kind of context as to what this movie is. I have IMDb up, and it's a very small paragraph,
Sure,
but it
go for it.
helps to give that context.
Sure,
So
go for
it's
it.
in
Oh,
19
but
19 oh oh
yeah,
oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yes, everyone. Obviously, spoilers. Go watch the
Oh
movie.
gosh.
Just go, please. Do yourself a favor. Stop us. Go watch the movie.
Here's the thing. This isn't the kind of movie that if you know everything about it, it ruins your enjoyment of it. I
True.
have watched this movie so many times. I have performed in it personally so many times that it only gets better each time I hear it and see it. So, but okay, so here's the summary. It's 1905 Russia, and a traditionalist Jewish peasant contends with three of his daughters marrying men who have modern romantic ideals, all while anti Semitic sentiment threatens his village. That's more or less a pretty good explanation of it. The main character, I feel like we got to start with the main character,
Of Tevye, yes. Yes.
Tevye. Tevye is special in the best sort of way. He's supposed to be in his 50s. The actor was actually 35
Hmm.
at the time. His name's Chaim Topol. They would put like the director's white hairs into his eyebrows and his beard and things like that. This guy is one of the best characters in any movie ever. I would die on that hill.
I think I actually agree with you on that one.
For me personally, I put him up there with oh frickin' Marlon Brando's The Godfather
Oh,
as far as like
yes.
iconic, amazing characters. Yeah, he's a milkman, Tevye, in this little village of Anatevka that lives right next to this Russian village where everyone's Orthodox. So you have the Christians and the Jews, and there's all this tension. I don't know where you want to start with this movie, man.
Oh, dude, I'm just kind of going with it. Like, yeah, Tevye's was a good start. I was thinking like just his the beginning of the film, the opening,
Oh,
and it's a, like you said, the slow. It's you get the sunrise, you hear the sounds of like the animals starting to wake up, and then the music plays, and the simplicity of it, and you get Tevye talking about Fiddler, and it's kind of representing of the Jewish people and this balance they have to strike in life and everything, and just how he's doing it. And it's again, it's early in the morning. He's getting ready to do his rounds. So it's represent in these few minutes, you get established what kind of life these people have, and the beauty. Oh, it's beautiful, beautifully done.
It is a beautiful film. He has five daughters, a wife named Golda, and a horse whose foot keeps going lame. One of the things that's intriguing about Tevye is the fact that he is constantly talking to God
Mm-hmm.
in not a corny way at all.
No.
Thank you, God, for blessing me with five children. He's like very grateful, respects his relationship with God, and also is a little tongue in cheek with him.
Yes, very.
And oh man, but that opening number, the opening song tradition, where they're talking about how they tell you the entire culture, what really matters to these people in this song that
Mm-hmm.
is catchy. It's just really too bad that we can't add some songs to this conversation due to copyright
Yeah.
because it's so freaking good. It explains how the papa is the head of the house, and he goes to the synagogue, and mama makes sure that all the kids don't go crazy, and she makes sure that her husband is cleaned up and knows his left elbow from his right elbow, and oh, you know everything you need to know after this one song.
Yes. And the
Um,
little interludes of Tevye to doing like, oh well, this little thing, we have a tradition for this and we have a tradition for that. And yeah, just all these traditions that they have, and he explains, why they're there. And I love the little tongue in cheek joke where he's like, you may ask, how did this tradition get started? I tell you, I don't know.
It's so good. It's so good because I come from also like I attend like a traditional style church now, right? And having grown up more evangelical, we didn't really have tradition was sort of a thing we didn't really care about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that I've come to appreciate in now. And there are so many things within Anglicanism where it's like, this tradition, where did this tradition come from? And then you literally go around, people go, I don't know. So why do we do it? Good question. And there is a reason, and we look for it, we find, we go, oh, that's cool. It was a highly
Yes.
relatable point. Oh yeah, the music in this movie is incredible. There's very few songs that I don't care for. There are a couple that I'm not a big fan of, but they're catchy, they're joyful, there's so many things.
Thing I find also interesting is how they're constructed musically. They have that
Yes.
joyful sound, but then you listen to some of the lyrics and the pain. There is such pain in some of these lyrics. It's incredible being able to combine a joyful sound and feeling, and you feel this joy and this. I don't know how to. I don't know. Just you feel it, but then you hear the lyrics and it's really sad.
Well,
Just
it's a really Eastern way of looking at things because
mm,
in this context, as well as historically, the Jews and the Eastern Orthodox have gone through many, many upheavals, and they have an approach to suffering that is and how it relates to theology and to God that is way different than Westerners.
yes,
It's completely foreign to evangelicals or people like that. Like and even in say like the Anglican Church that I'm a part of, even the Catholic Church, I would say, which is extremely old.
hmm
But the way that the Eastern Orthodox and the Jews they don't shun the suffering and the upheaval of what you hoped would happen and what actually happened. They bring it all together and treat it all as one, like the good things as basically a gift that we understand and we thank God for, and the other a gift that we do not understand and hurts like hell. It's really interesting, and this movie captures that.
yes. It's funny that you bring that up because there's this YouTuber. Yiddishkeit, I think. I'm just gonna look up the spelling. Uh, yeah, Yiddishkeit. So Yiddish, Yiddich, and then kite, Keit. Does a video discussing Fiddler on the Roof. He's a Jewish guy talking about Jewish stuff in media and lack of a better term, cultural representation, and just it's really fascinating. Anyway,
Mhm.
he talks about how Tevye, his whole thing of looking at his the blessings, like good things happen to him, and it's like you have oh, what affliction you have given me, and then when it's something that's a bit more negative, it's like what a blessing you have blessed me with 5 daughters. And then when the Sabbath night, yeah, and then Sabbath evening when suddenly a whole bunch of company comes over, Golda's like another blessing. And yeah,
Mhm.
and then when he's talking about like money or anything, he's like, "May God afflict me with
Oh,
riches and stuff," or like,
yeah,
"May God."
Perchik, the communist.
Yeah, it's like
He
money,
says, "Money is the world's curse." And may the Lord smite me with it, and may I never recover.
so good.
Like just the just the honesty.
Hmm. Yes.
It's amazing. So okay, so he has 5 daughters,
Hmm.
and a huge part of the story is the oldest three who are throughout the duration of the film get married, and never to whom their culture would think, their parents. And so that gets really interesting. So there's the oldest daughter, Seitel. She's very dutiful and she's determined to marry for love. And she's in love with Motel, the tailor, the poor tailor.
Hmm.
Then there's Hodel, who's extremely intelligent and uneducated, but very intelligent, very strong moral compass. And she falls in love with Perchik, the communist. And then there's Chava, the younger of that three. And she's very thoughtful. She's very curious. And she's more curious about the outside world than I think anybody is comfortable with, which obviously runs into huge issues because they interact a lot with the Russians. Because keep in mind too, historically, this is 1905. This is White Russia. This is before the Bolsheviks
Yeah.
take
This,
over
yeah,
Russia in 1917.
yeah. This is under Tsar Nicholas, I believe. Just
Tsar
before.
Nicholas the Tsar Nicholas the something. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was the second. This is just before World War One.
yeah.
A couple years before World War One.
Yeah, because World War One kicks off in 1906, I think. 1906 or 1907. Let me
Really?
fact check that.
I thought it was 1916, 1918, I believe. Was
No, I was completely off. 1914 to 1918.
There we go. There we go.
There
Right.
we go. No, you were
Yeah.
right. You were right.
Yeah. Somewhere in
Thank
that
you for
ballpark.
giving me that suspicious look.
Sabaton, man. By the way, everyone, listen to Sabaton.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Metal
yeah.
music deals with history, military history. They have a whole 2 albums about World War One. That's how I kind of remember dates, just by listening to their songs.
Okay, so we've talked about Tevye. We got 3 daughters. We got the
Hmm.
music.
Yes,
Oh, his wife Golda, of course.
she's a Spitfire.
Well, I'm quarter Jewish ethnically.
Hmm.
Actually, interestingly enough, the quarter Jewish that I am comes from that region.
Interesting.
These are basic, yeah, like somewhere along the way, like my ancestors, like my grandparents and
Yeah.
great grandparents left Europe due to these things, due to pogroms, due to upheavals. Yes,
Huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And they came over to North America and became very successful farmers during the Depression, the Great Depression. Like this is very personal to me as well.
Mm.
These in many respects. So I can say this: she is what you would readily think of when you think of a strong-willed Jewish wife.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
And I don't mean
100%.
that as a dig, by the
No.
way.
No.
She's quick side note. This actress, by the way, Norma something or other. I don't have the cast on me. Oh yeah, Norma Crane. She battled breast cancer
Hmm.
during the shooting of this and died 2 years afterwards.
Yeah, I read about that too. Like, just these are
Yeah.
stories I love. Like when people who push through and want, like when a piece of art is so important for that to them that they want to make it happen. Like, isn't she Jewish too? I'm trying to remember because I know there was many of the cast and crew that were Jewish or had some kind of Jewish ancestry or influence on their
Mhm.
upbringing.
I know T'Pol definitely was. I mean,
Hmm.
T'Pol, that gave it away. She may have been. I don't see anything about that.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain that the person who played Motel was.
Oh, fair. Well, look at
Yeah,
his
he's a
face.
prey. Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, so I believe he was. I'm not sure. I think Paul Michael Glazer, who plays Perchik, the one who eventually goes
Mhm.
out with Hodel, the second daughter. I'm 90% sure he's Jewish as well. Glazer seems like a Jewish name to me. He was also Starsky in the original Starsky and Hutch. I don't know
Yeah.
if you knew that.
Yeah, I came across that. I love those little fun facts. Also, allegedly, he was going to be possibly passed up because the character in the original stories is supposed to be a teenager or a young adult, and so
Yep.
there was plans of actually passing him over. But then I believe the director was like, no, 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 addition, because he really wanted him, and he knocked it out of the park, and so they hired
Mhm.
him.
Well, the first actor that they had for Perchik was a great actor. I can't remember what his ethnicity was. I don't think it was Jewish. For some reason, I'm thinking Italian, but I'm not sure. But he couldn't speak English.
Ah.
So a great actor, apparently. Just he had to master English, and it just wasn't working out. So
Mm,
he ended up having to bow out, and then that's when Michael Glazer came in,
mm.
or Paul Glazer, excuse me.
I was just thinking back to Golda. Even though we don't get a lot of moments with her, all of them are just spot on. You know who she is. She's very much the hardworking, farmer's wife, but she has her thoughts and opinions. But it's not a thing of like, oh, you have to do it my way or whatever. She's like, this. I'm running the house. You bring in the income and all this stuff. Here, eat your food. You must have indigestion. Here, I'll change it. She's very matter of fact. I love it. I just love her character.
And it's interesting too the way that they capture hers and Tevye's marriage relationship. You know, the very first scenes where you see them, she Tevye da 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 talking to him, and then turns around. A woman could die from such a man, you know. And then Tevye is saying something like similarly as well, right?
Yes.
And their relationship in this movie is actually, for to me, the most special out of all the romantic relationships. As special as it is that, Motel, the poor Tailor, and Seitel, they get together and it's all wonderful. But here you have these people who are already married, they have 5 children, they're very poor, but they're resilient. And they're
Yes.
they're and it isn't until 3/4 of the way through the movie, they have a song called Do You Love Me? And for the first time in their marriage,
25, I think it
for
was.
25 years,
Yes.
uh, this is the first time they have asked themselves, do I love my husband? Do I love my wife? Which is interesting, keeping in mind they are from a generation of people who they looked at marriage as something that was the building block of society. What we look at as romance now is very new,
Yes.
extremely new. It was more so important that you had two people who were competent in their own ways in order to produce a family. It's not that they didn't love each other, right? Because to love is to will the good of the other.
Yes.
They obviously willed that. But as far as acknowledging, do I love him? Do I love you? It's just, it's charming on a level that I don't know what to do with.
I think what I also find really neat about it is because Tevye, throughout the film, his idea of tradition, his idea of life, his idea of God, all of this is constantly being challenged. And
Yes.
his daughters wanting to marry, one wanting to marry for love, one other wanting to marry for mutual respect, affection, and all that, and just these different things going on. And he's bending his view on tradition and his beliefs and everything, and
Mm,
then right after giving his permission and blessing to Perchik and Hodel, he's now kind of he's having that conversation with himself. He's like, well, it's a new world, Golda. And I think that's when he was like, wait a minute, my children are marrying for love. Wait, do I love my wife? Does she love me?
yeah.
And he's there's so much self-reflection in there brought on by the
Yeah.
changes of the world around him. And I think it's a beautiful scene, and it shows such a humanity to Tevye,
Hmm.
that he's not just this hard worker and focusing on money. He's considering and wrestling with many, many things mentally.
because at the center of the story is the tension between, well, tradition and changes. And it really asks, I think, all the right questions about, what traditions are worth having. We don't want to just throw them out right away. I think we get into trouble when we just go, oh, it's old, we don't need it anymore. And then we get into trouble when we jump onto new ideas too quickly. But it really wrestles with that in such an incredible way. And I think one of the best ways that it shows this. So again, keeping in mind, right, like if you're a woman listening to this is a world where you marry the man that your parents and the matchmaker decide for you, right? There's not really a choice in this matter. To go against that is considered shameful. Now, Seitel, the oldest daughter, she loves Model, the tailor, right? And I mean, what she loves about him, other than the fact that he's endearing in the dorkiest way possible, I do not know. He is not, at least when you first meet him, he doesn't appear to have a backbone. He stutters all of the time, and he looks like he would blow over from just like a harshly worded Twitter tweet. But she loves him. But the matchmaker assigns her to Laser Wolf, the butcher, who, by the way, is older than her father. So her father's supposed to be like 55 in the movie. I think Laser Wolf, well, he's at least 56, let's say,
Yeah.
because we know that he's older. So, the matchmaker, yes, get Tevye to go talk to Reb Laser, and so they do. And there's this amazing scene where Tevye enters Laser Wolf's house, and Laser Wolf is wealthy. He makes a lot of money with with his butchery, and so Tevye is looking around at everything, and like there's no dirt on the floor, everything's clean. So anyway, nobody told Tevye why he was going to Laser Wolf's house, and Laser Wolf is like, "Well, I want to ask about your daughter." Tevye assumes he wants his new milking cow. So there's just this very charming, very funny scene where they're talking past each other, and then finally they get on the same page. And you want to marry my daughter? Yes, your daughter. You know, so then Tevye has like it's like one of 3 or 4 times, I think 3, where everything else kind of freezes and he's just having this open dialogue. It's his mind. He's thinking out loud. Well, he's old. I don't like him very much, but my daughter will always be comfortable. She will never want. It's a match. So they go out drinking, and one of the best songs, by the way, when they go out drinking at the bar,
Yes.
that is, I have to say, I don't know if it's my favorite song. It is up there because they're in the bar and they're singing, and then they start dancing with the Russian soldiers. Oh God, I wish we could show it on this video, man.
Oh, it's so good. See, that's actually an example of what I meant by songs where the everything's joyful, the sound is joyful, but the lyrics are sad. That is one of them, because there was points
Yeah,
where other people are saying like, oh, may you be joyful in these things in your life, and may we be joyful too, even though
yeah,
basically things are really hard and depressing right now. But may we all be joyful. Like, just it was there. There's some other lines that are far better worded, but essentially that.
uh-huh.
And great scene, fantastic
Like
scene. I
amazing, amazing, amazing. You have the Jewish dancing, then you have the Russian dancing, and then
Mhm.
you have the Russians showing the Jews how to dance, the way that they dance.
Yeah.
And Tevye gets hammered. Oh, he's close to blackout drunk. So a bargain is struck. Yes, you can marry my daughter. So he wakes up like probably at noon the next day, right? And I'm not gonna and Golda's like, well, tell me how it went. Woman, quiet, quiet, shh, shh, my ears. And doesn't tell her anything, and then goes to Seidel, who's milking the cow, and then says, you are to be married, you are to be congratulated, because you'll be married to Laser Wolf. And she goes, the butcher? Yes, please. Don't look so excited. And then, she's just crestfallen. She's 19 years old in this movie and has just been informed you're going to marry someone older than your dad. And there's a lot to this, because on the one hand, you're in a society that this is what you're built around. Why wouldn't anybody else? Why would anybody else think differently? And she says, no, I don't want to marry him. And the tension that Tevye has between his tradition and his daughter's love. Holy cow. Like I have two daughters. I have not watched this movie since my daughters were born. So this is the first time I'm actually watching it having daughters. And I'm like, I'm crying when I'm watching this because I'm thinking I'm putting myself in Tevye's position and I'm putting my oldest daughter in Seifel's position and thinking, holy crap, you know? And then he says, I will not make you marry the butcher.
That was so
Oh,
good.
and the first thing, right? And the Motel shows up and he convinces him to let him marry her daughter. And then Tevye has no respect for him at all. And then Motel yells at him. Even a poor tailor is entitled to some happiness. Like this is the first time he has shown anything other than like a meekness. And then
Mhm.
Tevye goes, he's starting to talk like a man.
The line that the line right after he did the happiness, he then grabs
Yes, you're right.
Scythle
You're
and
right.
says, "I promise you, Tevye, your daughter will not starve." Like that is where
Uh,
like he's like, "Ooh, he's beginning to talk like a man." It's like, yeah,
yeah,
that I
yeah.
think really shows just the backbone of the character and how he's changed and like the
He's developing.
yeah
Like Model's
yeah
he's a side character and he has his own arc.
yeah
Like throughout the movie, you can see that like the actor actually thought about how he was going to carry himself physically from before, like to this boy, a man who acts like a scared boy,
yeah.
to an adult. Like the actor did a brilliant job.
He did a fantastic job. You
Yeah.
like you said, like you see it in the beginning. He's stuttering, and even at the wedding, there's the whole there's a Wolf and Tevye are arguing. You can see Motel is trying to stand up for himself, but he's still getting pushed around. But he's still trying to stand up for himself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then of course then at the very end of the movie, the last time you see him and he's talking with Tevye, there's no stutter. Everything is he's more upright and he's very focused of
Yeah.
this is what I have to do as a husband and a man for my family in this very trying and this time of upheaval. And just
Mhm.
you see this character, like you said, he's grown, and that's incredible storytelling. Incredible storytelling.
Yeah, and I think right now, because one of the things that we should probably do as well is paint a little bit about what has been going on the outside,
Oh
right?
yes,
So
yes.
they're basically, they're not a independent Jewish community. They basically live at the behest of the Russian authorities, right? And it's not kind. And one thing that's very interesting for me as a Christian is, and I didn't think about this until I was preparing for this episode, that these people who are basically oppressing the Jewish people, these are Christians actually.
Mm-hmm.
That never clued into me because when I first watched it, I had no idea what Eastern Orthodoxy was.
Yeah,
So
neither did I.
during this time, in Russia, the Jews were experiencing something called a pogrom, which is basically it's a violent, organized attack against a specific ethnic or religious group, and most commonly against Jewish communities, and was often carried out with the approval, the encouragement, or sometimes inaction of the authorities. It was basically soldiers would go in and they would just tear stuff up, wreck homes, burn homes, and this was something that was passed down through the chain of authority structure of Russia. And there's an interesting character, the constable, who's also he's Russian, he's Orthodox as well, and but he likes Tevye. At one point, he says to Tevye, you're a good man for a Jew," and it sounds like a backhanded compliment, but he actually means it. I think
I
he
would agree. Yeah, I think he does
genuinely
too.
likes these people. He likes Tevye. And he has this meeting with a higher up who comes into his office to challenge him on why he's not doing more of these pogroms,
Hmm.
why he's not doing more demonstrations of imperialist authority. It's like, and he says, do you love these Christ killers? And I was like, that's interesting because historically that is where a lot of anti-Semitism happens. It actually shows up as early as, I think, the 300s or 400s.
BC? Sorry, 80?
80.
80. Yes, that would make
It was
sense.
BC. That was before Christ. And
Yes, my
then,
brain.
but yeah. So it's an unfortunate part of history, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just the Constable's such an interesting character in that respect, because he hates what he has to do. He even tries to warn Tevye that something is coming down the line. Anyway, I just interesting that you have all of this going on in the background.
Yeah, and we even see a bit of that in it's kind of drawn attention to in the opening song, tradition, when there's those little dialogue interludes where Tevye is talking about, like, there's the others, we share this, our town, and we don't bother them, and so far they don't bother us, and everything. And like you're saying, with even like the constable, yes, what I find really interesting about how he does things is you see that there is a pain in his face anytime he has to like actually have to harm the people. And he's like, he doesn't want to do this. He hates that this is part of his job. He'd rather keep the peace, get along with everyone, and just contribute to society instead of having to subjugate this group of people.
This movie's interesting because it doesn't actually, I don't think it does anyway, it doesn't actually have a character as a villain, as an antagonist.
No, no, it doesn't.
The antagonist is, the antagonism occurs with competing societies. And so, like, the Constable is somebody that could be a villain. Laser Wolf is a character that could be considered a villain. And truthfully, just quickly going back to Laser Wolf and how upset he was, obviously, at the fact that, Seidel was promised to him and then that was taken away. He actually had every right within his context to be upset. He
Yes,
did
he did.
nothing wrong. I
No.
feel like if this movie were made today, he would be, or remade, God forbid, they would portray him as just a Semitic, patriarchal white dude
Angry
or
old
something
man.
like that.
Yeah, an angry old
Instead,
man.
he was a real character.
That's one, like you said, that's another thing I love about this, with the characters that are even quote unquote antagonistic, or could be taken as antagonistic. They are not straight up villains. They're just
Yeah.
people. It's funny that you were mentioning that, because I was actually having similar thoughts, and it's really a testament to the writing of the
Yeah.
story and the crafting of the story, and that it is very much I wouldn't say character study, but it
It is a
characters.
character study, though.
You're right. You're right. I take that back. It is a
100%
yeah,
it is. It's not
yeah,
just that.
yeah. And it's the driving of the story is not an antagonist, a person antagonist, or even his poverty isn't even an antagonist in the story. Like, yes, it has influence on certain things, like why he chose to agree to Laser Wolf marrying his daughter. The
Mhm.
poverty did have a say in it, but it was not an antagonist that he has to overcome. And in many ways, it's just him coming to grips with a changing world, a changing society, and
Mhm.
it's not just out there. Those changes are being brought into his home now by his daughters, or through his daughters, more or less, and
Yeah.
other people that he interacts with, like even Perchik. Yes, he brought him into the home, and there's changes, but he can still keep
Yeah.
Perchik those changes at an arm's length until, of course, Hodel falls for him.
Yeah, and it just the friction happens where you actually love all of these people. At least that's the experience for me. You love all of these people. Even though you think to yourself, this is wild. I would never in a million years think to myself, I have to arrange a marriage for my daughter. I'm not even sure I would trust my ability to do that, but I also don't live in a society where that's determined in that respect. But like the tension between him and his daughters and who they want to marry versus who he and his society says that they have to marry is done beautifully. It's not done to villainize either the daughters or him.
Mm-hmm.
It's done in a way that's just it's so human, you know. Seidel and Motel, and he goes, okay, he's in the community. I can live with this. Don't know what I'm going to tell Golda,
Oh, so
and that's the whole thing. But okay. And then his second daughter, Hodel, falls in love with Perchik, who is Jewish, but he's not from that village. And I mean, for me, this would be a deal breaker. He's a communist. I don't have a lot of love for communists. Just going to throw it out there. And so I actually I like Perchik and despise everything that he says when he opens his mouth. Like there's literally a scene where he's teaching the kids Bible stories,
Oh, that
and
scene.
then like the one with oh gosh,
Jacob working for Laban for his daughter Rachel.
and the moral of the story is never trust an employer. Like that's such a communist thing to say, and but he's also charming and endearing in his own way.
Hmm.
And but there's still a oh, what do you call it? A scandal in the sense he's an outsider, and they chose to marry each other. The papa did not choose. The mama did not choose. The
Hmm.
matchmaker did not choose. They chose.
Hmm.
But he's Jewish.
So it's okay.
What am I going to tell Golda? But then the third daughter, and this I cried at this part with his third daughter Chava, who falls in love with a Russian. He's a
Yes.
peasant, a Gentile.
Hmm.
Not only that, though, keep in mind, as like his people look at Chava's people as Christ killers. So you don't just have the cultural difference; you have that distinct ontological religious perspective.
Yes.
That was too much for Tevye. And it's heartbreaking when Chava, like she runs away, she gets married in the Orthodox Church, which I don't know if you're familiar with Orthodox marriages.
Not really.
It's very ceremonial in the sense that like Jewish weddings are. Which, by the way, just as a quick aside, there is a Jewish wedding depicted, and oh my God, it is beautiful. But there's like going around the altar 3 times. There's crossing yourself 3 times. There's so many different. It's intricate and it's beautiful and it's amazing, but it's not Jewish. Tevye rejects Chava, and the pain in both of their eyes. I understood Tevye. And again, it wasn't portrayed as villainous, but I
Hmm.
understood it. And I also understood where she was coming from. It's heartbreaking. And the movie doesn't pick a side for you,
No,
by the way.
no.
Oh my God, a movie that doesn't force you to pick a side? Oh my
See,
God.
this
Mhm,
is these are
mhm,
these are all reasons why I consider it a perfect film. These all add to it.
agreed. Yeah. Yeah. Pacing was a nitpick.
Like what you were saying with like the emotional thing. Like I'm, as you know, with just some of the some personal tragedies have recently occurred for my family.
Yeah.
This movie hit far harder emotionally for me than
Mhm,
any other time. And it's been a long time since I'd seen it last. So there was so much that hit
mhm,
me hard. And I think the hardest, like there was other parts with Tevye processing with God and his relationship with the world and everything. But the whole sequence of for him losing Hava, because in the
mhm.
Jewish community, you've now married outside the faith. You
You
are
are
dead.
dead to us.
Yeah. And
He literally says that.
mhm, this is not you can tell this is not like a resentful like, oh, she's dead to us, oh, I hate her so much. No,
No,
there is such
no,
pain,
no.
and that hit me so much. It hit far harder being able to empathize with his pain, and it is, yeah, like it is so beautifully performed and
Hmm.
done so incredibly well. It's so good. It is so good.
The movie is 3 hours. We split it between Tuesday and Wednesday night. Like, I want to watch it again. I was looking up stuff beforehand just to prepare, and I'm looking at. I'm like, I want to watch this again. The amount of feeling, the amount of humanness that this movie
Hmm.
carries is uncommon. And here's the beautiful thing that the movie does. The story with him and Hava and Fiedka, by the way, is the man that she marries. It doesn't end when he rejects her on that muddy road.
Yes.
After just finding out that she had left that morning and got married that afternoon. His wife found this out by going to the village and speaking with the father reverend or the father whoever, like the priest, and then she comes to find him. Like that's not a great thing for a parent to hear. Just, oh, your kid got married without you. Where was my invite? This was something very different.
Yeah.
And at the very end of the movie, which I guess we'll have to get into the reasons for the end of the movie,
Hmm.
but there's a little bit of like a subtle working out reconciliation within his understanding of his tradition.
Hmm.
As they're leaving the village, for reasons we will have to explain, Chava and Fiedka show up and they want to say goodbye. And the entire family is not looking at them except for Seidel. So Chava's like, Mama, Papa, please speak to me, talk to me. And then they walk away. And Seidel says, uh, we will write to you from America. And Chava's like, oh, her face lights
Hmm.
up. And then Tevye, it's still not looking. This movie, man, still not looking at Chava. He says, God be with you. And then Seidel passes that on to Chava.
It is incredibly beautiful. What makes it also different between this and other musicals, because it's a musical. If you look a lot of musicals of the time, you can tell that they were done on you can tell it's a set. You can tell it's done on a sound
Mm,
stage.
not this movie.
Not this movie. Like,
No,
yes, there were sets constructed, but they were on location in Croatia, I think,
Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia, and it's it feels like a real town. It feels like
They
a real,
constructed it.
yeah, yeah. And there was this. I was checking out some fun facts. Apparently, a local peasant from the
Yep.
area, wandered on set and tried to buy a horse because he thought it was an actual, like, a new
Village.
market, yeah, market village that had just popped up, and like that detail gives there's so much weight, adds so much weight to the story because it
Yep.
feels real. They feel like real people in a real place, going, like, yes, they're singing, yes, they're breaking out into song and everything, but it feels real.
Yeah, and they actually had animals that they just let roam free,
Hmm.
like they would in a village, and it was chaos.
Yep.
They had geese going everywhere. They'd be doing a serious scene, and a flock of geese go by. Well, that's in the movie now. You know, the ending. I think we should probably. Do you
Yeah.
want to explain the ending, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reasons for it and all that? I feel
Okay.
like that would be good
Sure.
context.
Okay. So as we've said before, there's the pogroms going on, and the constable having to deal with the greater authorities, and there's the tension between with the Russian Gentiles and the Orthodox upon the Jews. So I don't know the entire historical context, but essentially the constable comes in with an order that the Jews of of the entire district have to leave.
Mm.
They have no choice, and they have 3 days to pack up, sell their homes, and leave. You have, oh, there's just so much. There's so much to it. Tevye and the people, just they're just so much chaos now being stirred into there, and they're trying to figure out what to do. How do they navigate this? And
But not just in that village as well, all over the place. Jews all over the place. And here's the crazy thing too, it was actually toned down from history. The
mm,
movie toned it down. The movie was already heartbreaking enough. Imagine like being told in 3 days you need to GTFO. Everything you have known. He was born in this village. He's not going to die in that village, but just all over. And then peasants would move in, like Russian peasants would come in
yeah.
to just replace them. We just don't want the dirty Jews anymore. Someone's gonna clip that. That's not what I meant. Like that's what like their perspective on it
Hmm.
was. That's what I meant by that. But like many like pogroms, like they were awful, you guys.
Hmm.
It involved well, let's call it rape, murder, mass killings, vandalism. Entire neighborhoods were sometimes wiped out, dozens or hundreds dead. The movie portrays it. I think the reason why it's toned down is because the constable likes them.
Yeah.
So you get the gut punch without the violence
Yes.
or the extreme violence. So they once again they have to get up and go, and they make plans to go to America, someplace they've never been.
Hmm. The whole scene there, like after they were given the news and they're now singing their song about Anatevka, and that it's,
Mhm.
what do we have? Like nothing, but
Yeah,
we're leaving our home, and just how it's shot. What I found really neat, and I found this out, that there's so many of these scenes where it's just the camera's panning over just people just standing there.
yeah, like a
And
picture.
that's exactly what the plan was. That when it was filmed,
Hmm.
they were like, okay, they were replicating the feel of old photos
Yeah.
of migrants and people just being kicked out, like the refugees and different things during this time period. knowing that bit of history, it's I find it far the just there's so much in this scene. This all of it is just it's so impactful.
Something that I noticed too, which seems to be a very Eastern way of thinking. So it's like this is our home. We were born here. Like this is like we don't know anything else other than this. Then they get the news. And after, arguing amongst each other, do we fight? Do we not? Do we fight? Do we not? And the rabbi just says, I'm going to start packing.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone goes, okay. And that song, though, it wasn't just a song of sadness. It was a ritual of moving on.
Yeah.
So, like, just the song starts with the good things that these things represent, our home, this and that. And then notice the switch of the language. What's a house? What's a cart? What's a book? Like nothing. It's nothing. But then it's only Anatevka.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful and tragic all at
Very.
once.
I'd like to go into a bit more like personally, I want to do a bit more research on my family history because I've got Mennonite, I've got groups that were living in Russia during this time, and there are people running and moving and fleeing and everything. And just even makes to kind of on a bit of an aside
Mm,
to have to pick up and you're going somewhere else in hopes of finding a better life, and you
yep.
leave with nothing, or you're leaving with you hear these stories they left with $9 in their pocket. In today's money that may have been $50, may have been 100, may have been
Yep.
500. Like even just think about, even if let's say we move to the other side, we move to somewhere in Europe and all we have is $1,000. That's not a lot to start over with. And
Maybe in Mexico.
yeah, maybe in Mexico, but it's just
Our
the
money gets carried quite well in Mexico, but
yeah.
anyway.
So it's just like even that kind of thing, and like so many people are going for it, having to go and start over. There's just such a resilience there.
Yeah, I think that's one of that is one of the most important, I don't want to say lessons, but I don't have another word for it,
Hmm.
that we don't get in movies too much anymore, unless it relates to also dealing damage to people. Like I love action
Yeah,
movies. I like watching John Wick kick so much ass because they killed his dog. Okay. I love those movies. But resilience isn't just the ability to deal violence, it's the ability to withstand, let's say, social violence as well as physical violence without also becoming violent yourself
yes,
and retaining your identity. That's what this movie ultimately is about, retaining your identity in a changing world that doesn't give a crap about you. And it does it. Oh, I have such a personal connection to this. Obviously, there's the ancestral one, but I've also like performed in musical theater twice. I've played the Constable and just Jew number 22 the first time, and then the second time in like musical theater, there's like two casts, right? Cast one, cast two,
hmm.
so that way you don't burn out entirely. In cast one, I was Perchik
Really,
and Jew number 22. And in cast two, I was Motel and Jew number 22. I've heard these songs so often. They're basically baked into me. We've dressed like them. We've moved like them. The kid who is Tevye, I'm not going to say his name. Really good guy though. As a 14-year-old and then again as a 16-year-old, managed to embody everything that is Tevye. So all of these songs and everything, I've sung them, I've heard them so many times, and it's the most special performative experience I've ever had, and I've had many. This has a very special place for me.
this is one that I would love to perform. And
Mhm.
the funny thing is, when I was watching it, I had that thought of like, who would I want to play? And I know like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to play Tevye. I was like, you know what? I want to challenge myself. I want to play the commie. I want to play Perchik.
Perchik,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Though I found really funny in the scene when he's trying to propose to
Hodel.
Hodel, and he's going into the talking about the marriage. It has such a it's a socioeconomic influence stuff. I've got a political question, da, 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 and he's talking about all this stuff. And the funny thing is, like, I'm listening to how he talks. I'm like, dang it, you're me. You are me. Like, I don't talk, wouldn't be talking about the socioeconomic aspects of marriage, but some of the, because he's talking about like, yeah, it needs two people that are on the same page on this and that and da 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 da. And
And
then she's
she
like,
says, and affection.
yeah. And he's
Yes,
like,
yes, of course.
it's like, oh, yes, that's an important element. I'm like, that is so me. Like, this is something I've noticed about myself when I communicate these things. Whatever I consider as just no duh a given, I don't bring up in a
Yeah.
conditional thing. Like, so if the affection thing, my brain would be like, well, obviously love and affection needs to be, and so I'm not going to talk like duh. Yeah, if you don't have any other thoughts, I was thinking go into the end scene really
Yeah,
encapsulates.
let's do that.
So something that I believe it was the director brought up of like the fiddler representing the spirit of the Jewish people, and one
Mhm.
could debate if in this film the personification that we see of the fiddler, if it's an actual person in the story or if it's just the representation of the Jewish people given spirit of the Jewish people given physical form just for the audience to see as a.
The answer to that question is yes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yes. So, yeah.
Did we
So
actually, before you do that, did we explain actually what the fiddler was supposed to represent?
I think I alluded to it at the beginning, but it's essentially Tevye talking about it's the just as a fiddler has to balance on a roof to keep his footing, just so do we as the Jewish people. We have to keep our balance in this changing world around us to
Mhm.
keep our identity and to maintain who we are through our through tradition. I believe.
All while
It's the
playing
effect.
beautiful music.
Yes, all while playing beautiful music. Yes, scratch
Yeah.
out a nice tune without breaking his neck, or scratch out a living without killing yourself. In the end, after the village is cleared out, and you just see streams of people being forced out, and
Hmm.
then and then the last scene, you see Tevye and his family. He's pulling his cart because the horse is lame, so he's pulling. Nobody else is around him, and then you hear the opening line of
Mm.
the song of the fiddle. He turns around and he sees the fiddler, and just the way he looks at him as if he's like, what about
Do I
me?
come with you?
Yeah, do I come with you? And it's that bitter, and he kind of gives him that head nod of like, yeah, come on, and he continues playing and follows him. And it's just that bittersweet thing of like, yes, the Jewish people are being scattered, they're constantly having to move, but they take who they are with them, and it's beautiful,
It is beautiful.
absolutely beautiful.
It is beautiful because it's a movie about identity and it doesn't have any easy answers.
No.
Which is one of the more irritating things about modern films is they don't usually. I don't know if I don't. It's not that they don't allow for that. I don't think people know how to depict that.
Yeah.
The fact that there are no easy answers and that people are more than just this word or that word and being able to I think this is one of the things that makes this good art is it also shows you I think how to be a person in a world where people don't agree where people are so far removed from each other culturally there's clash and it presents it as an is and how do we live our lives like that through that it's an amazing film. It's an amazing film. I can't recommend it enough, especially if
No.
you love musicals. It is 3 hours long. Make popcorn, bring a water cooler, even just watch the musical numbers.
And I know it can get boring, but get through it. On the topic of some things being long and arduous, stay off our phones. Get into it. Learn to take in
Oh
film.
gosh,
Learn to take
don't
in.
watch this. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just I think this is like a not to be the the old man, whacking on the youngers, but there's so much that can be appreciated in older film, and it requires us to pay attention,
Yeah,
even if it's boring. There's stuff there, and I would recommend if you get through the first time and you're like, oh, that was so boring, watch it again. Take a couple weeks. Like I this is a really good movie, and I think it has a lot to say on how we view tradition and society and how we can just grow with people that believe differently than us. I'm not sure where else to go from that, everyone. I thank you for listening, and hopefully next time we talk about we'll try to keep things a bit more flow better as we go. We're trying this new format, and we'll see how it goes.
And also, guys, if you watch this movie, let us know what you think about it. Tell us if you think we missed something, or like just let us know your thoughts. Love to hear from you.
Yes, please. And hey, if you hated it,
Oh,
please,
yeah.
please,
Tell us why
please
we're
tell us
wrong.
why. Yeah, please tell us. Like, and no, I'm not gonna be going around and smack you like, oh well, you're wrong and you're dumb for thinking this way. No, please tell us what you didn't like. Let's enjoy talking about and discussing. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, incomtech.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.